Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video, and today I'm doing why I like the series 3 opener, which is Smith and Jones. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer, I am kinda mega drunk on nostalgia here, because it has been ages, like yonks, since I've watched any series with David Tennant, so you know I might be just like fanboying out. And I say this when actually he's not my favourite Doctor and stuff. I don't think he's the best Doctor. For me personally, I think he's a bit too human, but I might get into that in a later, a different video. I don't detest him. Well, I don't hate him. I definitely don't hate him, but I just think he's a bit, as I said, a bit too human for my liking. Anyway, so what did I like about Smith and Jones? I think Russell T Davies definitely wanted to introduce a new companion, and I think it's effective, and it's simplistic and it's effective and it does it well. I don't think it really needs to focus on the bad guy and that, or the villain per se. I think she's just sort of there, and that. So if you are annoyed about that, I understand that. I was annoyed about that. I thought that could have been better. I think the Judoon, the introduction of the Judoon is superb. I love the Judoon and I wish they'd come back. I am dying for them to come back, and I know they're in the new classic Doctors New Monsters box set, so that's awesome. Big Finish, thank you for doing that. But yeah, I think, you know, the idea of them being on the moon, it's sort of a nice mishmash of drama and sort of, you know, what Russell T Davies does good, but with a bit of Doctor Who, sort of, you know, tacked on, but not really badly, like it looks like it's sort of him trying to do a Doctor Who type adventure sort of story thing, and that. But I think the gel well is what I'm saying, you know, like there's no massive stop and start, you know, from being on Earth to being on the moon. It doesn't feel too jarring or too disjointed, like, you know, like you're like, oh my god, what's happening now, you know. And all the characters, or Martha's reactions to a lot of things are very, very good, you know, very normal reactions, how I would react or how most people would react in these sort of circumstances. And I appreciate people might say in the comment section, you know, down below, I don't like the Earth-based stories, and I understand that, and I think in Russell T Davies' era there was an excessive amount of those, but I personally appreciate it being like an Earth story every now and then, like Flatline or Father's Day, or you know, the Zygon 2-parter, because I like those because it grounds it in some sort of reality, some sort of realism for an episode or two, you know, and it also makes the enemies, it makes it feel more real in the sense that I could walk down the street and an alien could be there, you know, sort of thing, especially when you're younger anyway, and that, you know, whereas I get that maybe, you know, the space ones are a bit out there for little kids, but not so much for, you know, teens and adults. But I don't know. I mean, what I mean is, it was nice. I mean, I appreciate the fact that the element with the sort of family sort of thing is recycled from series 1 and 2 and that, but here it's different enough where it doesn't bother me too much. Because, for example, where Rose wanted to be sort of bumped into the Doctor and just sort of stumbled across this new life, this new adventure of a lifetime sort of thing, Martha kind of looks for it, and that, you know, because her family's so hectic and so manic and that, and I quite like that difference, you know, because it's different context, different personalities, you know. She doesn't want to, as I say, just leave her family. She cares a lot about her family, clearly, because she even says, you know, I can't go at first because I have this and that to do and stuff, which I thought was quite interesting. I didn't like how David Tennant's Doctor, though, just snapped at her and kind of was like, no, you're not replacing Rose, you're just here for once in one trip and that's it. And it's like, whoa, calm down. But yeah, I think for the most part David Tennant wasn't too bad. I think that was the only bit that I didn't like. Everything else from him was actually really good. I didn't like the kiss sort of thing, but that's more the script's fault than him. There was also a bit of comedy, for lack of a better word, with the sort of radiation and him with his shoe, sort of jiggling his shoe about and messing around with that. That was a bit too shoehorned in there, or a bit too at the forefront. And I think it's odd to think that in Matt Smith's era, the comedy is way too much at the forefront, whereas the comedy is a lot more in the back. You know, it's very subtle. It's just, you know, you chuckle, you laugh a little bit, and it's funny, and then they move on from it. Whereas in, as I say, Matt Smith's era, it's very much at the forefront. Like, you need to laugh. Like, there should be a laughing track there, and it's just not right. Whereas with the music, it's the opposite way around, whereas the Matt Smith's music, or in Stephen Moffat's era, the music is very much in the background and subtly playing in the background to add a bit of atmosphere and a bit of stuff here and there, whereas here it's very much at the forefront. Like, there's running scenes and there's just blaring music, like, you know, really loud music, which, yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. Like, sometimes it's effective, sometimes it grated on me a bit, you know, because I just didn't feel like it was needed, and that. But Martha's theme, that really, you know, a bit of music that accompanies her and sort of embodies who she is, and that just sort of, you know, psychologically, I think it imprints this sort of idea of this is who she is, you know, and you associate the music with that character, you know, even if you don't like that character, you think of the music and then you think of that character, and that's a very effective way of making someone just think, yeah, this is who this character is, you know. The slaps, they were pretty garbage, really. There were just 2 of them and they were just very one-dimensional. There was quite a few deaths. I counted a total of 5, which I thought was quite a lot considering it's a new series episode and it's a Russell T Davies story as well. I also really adore one of the highlights for me was the TARDIS in the alleyway, just the idea of, you know, I think Russell T Davies very much cemented this idea a lot in his era, which I quite liked, but then again, it sort of unfortunately did have to coincide with the sort of making it more earthbound or more earth-based stories. So I like this thing, but I didn't really like the whole earth thing. But the thing that I do like is the fact that, you know, you could turn around, much like I said with the aliens, but you could turn around and the TARDIS and the Doctor would be there, you know, like this world, you know, this whole sort of world of, you know, the Shakespearean Code and all of the rest of the episodes in, you know, this box set could be so very accessible to me or you, you know, the other Doctor Who fans, you know, and that is what's amazing about that story, or the idea of that anyway, you know, the idea that you just turn around and you've just felt really miserable this day and you turn around and in an alleyway there's the Doctor, whatever face or whomever you really prefer really, and they're there with the TARDIS and they let you go in and you can just go anywhere in time and space, you know, making that, you know, the idea of that open to the audience is just superb, because, you know, we want that really. We are the people who want to be the companion essentially, and that, and yeah, and I think again it's been solidified brilliantly, superbly in, as I say, that alleyway scene and that, and yeah, and like the little bits of comedy, as I say, like for example when David Tennant's like, you know, it's bigger on the inside, and then he's like mimicking, you know, what she's saying. Is it really? You know, it's just, it's again, it's simplistic and it's just a little bit, you know, cheeky really, because, you know, it's just a bit funny really. It's just a bit humorous. It's not over the top and like you need to laugh at that, but it's just a little thing that doesn't really add anything, but it doesn't take away anything either. And I like the little bits of like Vote Saxon here and there, you know, with the little postery things in the alleyway as well. That was very subtle and effective, you know. And there was another thing on the radio, I think, said something about Mr. Saxon was right, we are not alone and stuff, you know. You know, and I think at the end of the day, it's not the best story. It's not Genesis of the Daleks or Heaven Sent or, you know, Day of the Doctor or, you know, the Three Doctors or, you know, I don't know, Inferno or anything, you know, massively brilliant out there, you know. I think it's simplistic and effective, and because of that, it's just a nice little easy watch. I think this would be easily an episode I would recommend to someone who wanted to get into Doctor Who, and if they said to me, I want to get into Doctor Who but I don't know where to start, I would give them this story. Whether or not they'd want to watch Doctor Who afterwards, I don't know. I mean, I think that might be my only gripe. I mean, as much as it brilliantly sort of defines or starts to, you know, introduce Martha well and effectively. I think it doesn't massively sort of describe what Doctor Who is massively well. I think it does it, you know, a bit above averagely well, you know, in that respect. But yeah, I would give Smith and Jones a well-earned 6 out of 10. It's just above average. It's good. It's good. A 6 out of 10 for me is good. 5 out of 10 would be okay, but I think it's better than okay. I think it's still good, but I wouldn't go so far to say it's amazing or phenomenal or, you know, breathtaking or sensational or anything like that, like a 9 or an 8. You know, an 8 or 9, I wouldn't go that far. But yeah, thanks for watching. Comment, rate and subscribe.